Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Sound check for closed captioning. Check 1 2.
Please be seated. It is my honor as president of the University of North Georgia to welcome you to the Spring 2017 Commencement Ceremony. On behalf of the entire university community, I extend warm and sincere congratulations to each of these fine scholars and also to their family and friends. Our hopes and our dreams are with these students today. This is a day of celebration for our graduates, but also a day of celebration for the university. As we begin our ceremony, please join me in thanking Dr. Sherry Hardy, Faculty Marshal, and the Brass Ensemble for the inspiring processional. Will you please stand? I would be remiss if I did not recognize all of the mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, partners, children, grandparents, other relatives, and friends who stood behind our students and assisted them throughout their college careers. Thank you. Thank you for supporting our students. And students, today is, of course, a wonderful day. Here you are, donned in academic regalia, whose design dates back to the Middle Ages and symbolize your achievement and commitment. The right to wear these robes is an honor that must be earned, and indeed you have earned that right. We are here to honor you with the richest tradition of the Academy, a commencement ceremony celebrating the completion of your degree and the beginning of your professional lives. The University of North Georgia holds a special designation within the University System of Georgia as a state leadership institution. As such, UNG has a strong, very strong reputation for producing students like you, students who are civic, professional, and military leaders, and graduates are known as individuals committed to high personal integrity, civic engagement, community service, and of course, high academic ability. I know that the foundation you have received through North Georgia will be a catalyst to your future success. And I have no doubt that as graduates of UNG, you will touch many lives of the people around you. Again, students, congratulations for this wonderful milestone in your lives. At this time, the Women's Ensemble, under the direction of Dr. Benjamin Schaining, will lead us in singing the national anthem. Will you please stand if you are able?
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. On the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, and please be seated. It is my honor as the Vice Provost to join President Jacobs in welcoming you to today's ceremony. When I reflect upon the experience you have had at UNG and your determination to achieve this goal, I am reminded of the story of the Apollo 13 space mission that was recounted in a movie several years ago. Apollo 13 was programmed for 10 days, but it suffered a system failure en route. Jim Lovell was the commander of the Apollo 13 flight. He and the crew, working closely with ground controllers, conserved the crew's electrical power and water, and they converted their lunar module into a lifeboat of sorts, allowing them to survive in space and return to Earth. Lovell is credited with saying, "There are people who make things happen, there are people who watch things happen, and there are people who wonder what happened." To be successful, you need to be one of the people who makes things happen. As a UNG graduate, you have the knowledge and critical thinking skills to solve challenging problems. You've learned the value of teamwork, of perseverance, and leadership. You will make things happen. As one of the university's academic officers, I recognize the importance role of our faculty in helping you to identify and develop these skills. I commend our faculty for their commitment to your personal and professional development and for their leadership and dedication to their disciplines. Would all the members of the faculty who are here today, including those that are on the platform, please rise so that we can recognize you. And would you all please join me in recognizing them? Thank you. Before we continue with the program, please allow me to introduce the remaining members of our platform party. Would you all please stand as your name is called? Mr. Mac McConnell, Senior Vice President for Business and Finance. Dr. Billy Wells, Senior Vice President for Leadership and Global Engagement. Dr. Janet Marling, Vice President for Student Affairs. Dr. Richard Oates, Vice President, Gainesville Campus. Mr. Jeffrey Tarnowski, Vice President for University Advancement. Dr. Carol Adams, Dean of University College. Dr. Susan Ayers, Dean of the College of Education. Dr. Donna Mayo, Dean of the Mike Cottrell College of Business. Dr. Teresa Connor-Kerr, Dean of the College of Health Sciences and Professions. Ms. Wendy Hughley, Director of Alumni Relations and Annual Giving, and Mr. Stephen Shields, Instructor of Communication and the reader for today's ceremony. Thank you all. It is now my honor to introduce our guest speaker for today's commencement ceremony. Jennifer Herring is the Senior Vice President for College Affordability Initiatives at Georgia Student Finance Commission and works to ensure that college is both attainable and affordable for Georgia's students. She joined the Georgia Student Finance Commission in 2016 after a 20-year banking career where she helped Georgia families and business owners achieve economic success and financial security. Today, she supports and promotes the Reach Georgia program, Georgia's needs-based scholarship, increasing both awareness and financial support for its participants. Ms. Herring's passion, fueled by her own personal experiences, is to provide Georgia's economically disadvantaged children with the encouragement and resources they need to dream big and focus on a brighter future, regardless of their current circumstances. Ms. Herring has been an active volunteer and community leader throughout North Georgia and Metro Atlanta in programs designed to improve communities through empowering women and children whose current circumstances leave them socially and economically disadvantaged. A lifelong resident of Hall County, Mrs. Herring is an alumna of Gainesville High School. She attended Gordon College and then Gainesville State College. Additionally, she is an alumna of Leadership Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Jennifer Herring.
Good afternoon. I would like to extend a special thank you to Dr. Jacobs as well as Dr. Oates for this humbling and inspiring opportunity to spend a few moments with you today. As I look out onto the crowd, I have to say it is both humbling and inspiring. Leadership, all of the leadership at the University of North Georgia, thank you again for the opportunity today. The University of North Georgia has an impressive and long-standing history of graduating leaders at the local, state, and federal levels. And beginning today, each of you are going to pick up the torch and begin a race that not only will impact your future, but the futures of all that are here, as well as those of generations to come. Looking out at each of you, I am confident that the state of Georgia is in very good hands for years to come. I had someone tell me recently that the longest commencement speech ever given was over 6 hours long. It was given at Harvard University in the 19th century. It was delivered in 3 different languages. That same person also pointed out that the shortest commencement speech consisted of only 4 words and was given by the late Nels Smith, governor of Wyoming. I can assure each of you today that my comments will be delivered only in English, slightly more than 4 words, but certainly much less time-consuming. Prior to standing before you today, I racked my brain and my heart for weeks on what I should say to each of you today, what I needed to say to each of you today. I asked myself, what would I have wanted to hear or needed to hear when I was your age? What do I know now that I wish I had known then? And what important lessons have I learned over my lifetime? I will be very honest with you, I got very nervous. We are all in a tremendous time of change, an era of prosperity in our state. The door is about to open to each of you, and this wonderful, confusing, exciting, and challenging world is about to rush through that door to you. While many of you may be sitting here thinking about walking through that door of this exciting, unknown challenge that awaits you, many of you may be sitting here today just contemplating and thinking back on how you even made it to this point today. It is in this moment that I hope each of you will take time to reflect on your journey to this point. It is in all the experiences and the circumstances of your life and your journey to this point that have shaped who you are right now. Many of you may be asking, who is this person and what awe-inspiring pearls of wisdom will she bestow upon us today? My story is a simple one that some of you may be able to relate to. I grew up in North Georgia, here in Hall County to be exact, just down the road. My parents divorced when I was very young, and my sister was still a baby. Life was not easy many times growing up in a single-parent household. Both my sister and I participated in the free and reduced lunch program our entire school careers. Many times in our home, there was more talk of making ends meet than there was of college hopes and dreams. Our mom received other additional assistance through food stamps and other aid programs. I can remember growing up wearing a lot of dresses that were handmade, made by the dear hands of my grandmother, and then, fortunately or unfortunately for my sister, passed down to her after I had outgrew them. Our mom worked very hard to try to make ends meet, but unfortunately for her, the ends just never seemed to meet. We were more fortunate than most because we had a grandmother who worked very hard to try to give us opportunity. But for our mother, the reality of her situation became the finality of the situation. Growing up, it always felt like there were situations and challenges that just kept knocking me over, beating me to the ground, like ocean waves crashing against the shore. Sometimes it felt like it was entirely too much for a kid of that age to have to handle. My school's success ebbed and flowed with situations at home. The one constant I had was my music. And even when we could not afford it, my grandmother made sure that I had my music lessons. As I look back and reflect on my life, I realize that much of who I am today was shaped by a handful of people around me in my circumstances. I am still a work in progress today. I am being shaped every day by people that I surround myself with and the circumstances of life in general. Every situation that arises is an opportunity to apply what I believe to be true and just. It is an opportunity to charge forward with faith when I cannot see the end. So for the next few moments, I want to share with you what I know to be tried and true decisions to a life well lived. First, you must accept responsibility for your life. It is not your genetics, your past circumstances, your finances, or even your education that will affect where you will go from this day forward. Don't blame circumstances outside of your control for your success or your failure. Surround yourself with people who will strive to grow and learn every day. Engage with people who strive for positive change in your community. When you are given the opportunity to make a decision, make it. Gather information, educate yourself on the situation, seek guidance from those who have knowledge and wisdom beyond yours, but most importantly, make the decision and stand behind it. I have many times in my career made decisions that when asked by executive management how I came to make the decision and given the opportunity to make the decision again, would I make it? And my answer has always been yes. My reply is, I followed a process, I educated myself and gathered information, and I made the decision, and I will stand by my decision. I do not think that if you choose to accept responsibility for your journey in this life, that you can then sit by and wait for others to act on decisions that you have made, especially when they affect you. So if you're going to make decisions, be prepared to be a person of action. If you are looked at to make a decision, then you will looked at for action. To be a leader requires both mental and physical engagement. Leading, whether at home, in your community, or in the workplace, is one of the most humbling and exhausting responsibilities you will ever have. Regardless of where you are, be prepared to lead through your decision. One of two things will typically happen when you choose to act. People will either follow you or they will get out of your way. I equate this many times to soldiers on the battlefield. Soldiers will look to their officers for decisions in battle. Leaders are often required to answer the who, when, and how. I have yet to read of any great leaders who lead from behind. And every great battle in our history has stories of troops that are being led by those who made the decision to yell charge. And so it is charge you must, through your circumstances, through the words of doubt of your decision and your capabilities. Charge with full faith through all of those things outside of your control, knowing that you will reach your intended goals. Consider for a moment the thistle. Wikipedia defines thistle as a common name of flowering plants characterized by leaves with sharp prickles located on the stems as well as the flat parts of the leaves. This is a natural adaptation to prevent the plant from being eaten by herbivores. Unique thing about the thistle, if you attempt to grasp the plant hesitantly or gently, you are going to get pricked, and it is going to hurt. If you, however, reach out and grasp the plant with bold purpose and conviction, the protective spines of the plant will crumble just like dried clay in your hands. So do not procrastinate and approach your problems timidly. Instead, boldly confront your challenges with full faith that while it may hurt, it will only hurt for a moment, and then your journey can continue. Starting and finishing a journey requires a great deal of passion. For without passion, and the full faith of what you know to be true, your goals would not be met. Your journey left unfinished. From passion comes conviction. Passion and conviction turn the question of, can I accomplish this goal, into how am I going to accomplish this goal? Passion and conviction turns the question of, I can't do this, to I can and I will. With passion and conviction, you become unstoppable, and others will follow you when they see you believe in your decision and you're willing to lead. Being purposeful and passionate means that you will take the necessary steps to accomplish your goal. You will map out your journey, and you will be responsible for how you get there. True passion for anything worthwhile in this life means that you wake every morning being thankful for another day to charge forward towards your goals. And work is not work when you're passionate about the journey. Passion also means that in this life you will lie down every night, thankful for the events of the day, whether good or bad, because you know the wisdom and the knowledge that you have gained from those experiences will better prepare you for what lies ahead. I can't help but think about the explorers of the past, those who were in search of new worlds, new lands, and new freedoms. How purposeful and passionate Christopher Columbus must have been to convince a king and a queen to finally fund his expedition. How many people told him there was absolutely no way he would be successful? I wonder how difficult it would have been at that time to find a crew who would follow him to what they thought at the time was literally the end of the earth. How many days and nights the crew must have spent on the ship dreaming of waking to find land and yet finding nothing but more water. How full of faith and conviction Christopher Columbus had to have been to have kept his crew engaged. Through his trials and his challenges, he pushed forward with the full faith that what he knew was the truth. He knew he would find land, a new world. His passion bred conviction, which turned to action, and others followed because they wanted to be a part of this incredible journey. And we all know how that story ended. Lastly, be thankful and be happy. Honestly, being responsible, purposeful, and passionate comes much easier when you choose every day to be thankful and happy. Always choose to see the positives in the situation instead of the negatives, which I can tell you from personal experience can be very hard to do at times. It is in those times that you must dig deeper and work harder to find the good. Search for it. Choose not to complain when the world says that you have every right to. Be happy. Being happy and living a life to the fullest is a choice that each and every one of you will make every day. In this life, it is easy to get discouraged when problems come your way. I would encourage each of you, when that time happens, to find someone whose situation is worse than yours. Take yourself out of the equation. It has been in some of my most discouraging and darkest moments that a door opened for me to help someone else whose current situation was significantly worse than mine. And you know, once I began focusing on how to help others improve their situation, mine did not seem so bleak. It was through this new sense of purpose and passion that I was able to help with the creation of a new comprehensive 6-week training program for homeless women in the city of Atlanta. In closing, my sincere prayer for each of you today is that you would remember Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Each of you have a bright future ahead of you. There will be plenty of bends in the road, and it will not always be smooth. The climb to the top may seem too steep and unreachable at times, but in those moments, keep charging forward with your eyes looking up and your face forward. In all that you do, be responsible for your journey in this life and be prepared to take action. When you have the opportunity to make decisions that are going to bring about positive change, make them, stand behind them. Look back just long enough to see how far you've come. Draw from those experiences and that wisdom. Be ready to lead by example when the opportunity arises. And when problems come your way, because they will, remember the thistle. Believe with all your hearts today and every day from this point that there is success beyond what you can see right now. And above all else, remember to be thankful and happy for every day that you're given. And finally, to paraphrase T.D. Jakes, if you ever have trouble finding your purpose, figure out where your passion lies. For it is your passion that will lead you to your purpose. I thank each of you for allowing me to spend a few moments with you today, and my sincere hope and prayer is that each of you will leave here today and make differences in your communities and be responsible and be prepared for action. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Herring, for urging us to accept responsibility for our lives, to pursue our journey as people of action with passion and conviction. Among our graduates this afternoon are students who have surpassed academic standards as set forth by our faculty, and it is my pleasure to recognize these honor graduates for their commitment and dedication. The names of these students are listed in your program, and they will be recognized individually as they receive their diplomas. Would you please hold your applause until all groups stand? Will the baccalaureate students who are graduating with a grade point average between 3.90 and a 4.0 on a 4.0 scale please stand and remain standing? These students are graduating summa cum laude. Will the baccalaureate students who are graduating with a grade point average between 3.70 and 3.89 on a 4.0 scale please stand and remain standing? These students are graduating magna cum laude. Will the baccalaureate students who are graduating with a grade point average between 3.50 and a 3.69 on a 4.0 scale please stand and remain standing? These students are graduating cum laude. Will the associate degree students graduating with a grade point average of 3.5 on a 4.0 scale please stand and remain standing? These students are graduating with distinction. Thank you. You may be seated. The UNG Honors Program cultivates a community of engaged scholars who have demonstrated excellence in academics, service, and leadership. Completion of the honors program includes involvement in activities outside the classroom and service to the institution and to the local community. Will all graduates who are members of the UNG Honors Program please stand? Thank you. Academic Honor Societies recognize students who have excelled both academically and as leaders among their peers. Will all graduates who are members of university and departmental academic honor societies please stand? Yes? Let's give one more round of applause for all of these students and their honors. We will now confer the degrees. Will all candidates for the associate degrees please stand? President Jacobs, I present to you the candidates for the associate degrees as listed in the printed program. Each of these candidates has successfully completed the requirements for the degree as set forth by the faculty, and I recommend these candidates to you for the conferral of their degrees.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia, I award to you the associate degree with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining, and I welcome you to the community of scholars. At this time, please move your tassels from right to left. Congratulations.
Please be seated. Will the candidates for all the bachelor's degrees please stand? President Jacobs, I present to you the candidates for the bachelor's degree. Each of these candidates has completed the requirements of the degree as set forth by the faculty. I recommend these candidates to you for the conferral of their degrees.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia, I award to you the bachelor's degree with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining, and I welcome you to the community of scholars. Please move your tassels from right to left. Congratulations.
You may be seated. We will now call forward the graduates to be recognized individually. I invite Mr. Stephen Shields to take his place to announce the graduates. Mr. Kevin Clary of the UNG's Young Alumni Board will greet you as you leave the stage and welcome you as new alumni of the University of North Georgia. Marshals, please lead the graduates forward.
We now present the Associate of Science degree graduates from the College of Health Sciences and Professions. Victoria Page Carey. Lauren Vang. We now present the Associate of Science degree graduates from the College of Education. Carly Amber Booth. Cynthia Castaneda. Angela Cooper Garrett. Marie Guadalupe Hernandez. Thomas A. Jablonski. Wendell James. We now present the Associate of Applied Science degree graduates from the Mike Cottrell College of Business. Elisa Brienne Corwin. Lorena Delgado. Talitha Lachey Harbison. Caitlin D. Kennedy. Mary Grayson Moore, with distinction. We now present the Associate of Arts degree graduates from the Mike Cottrell College of Business. Bianca Fernanda Hernandez, thank you. Amanda Ann Marie Bryce. Kaylin B. Fulford. Aaron Vincent Career. Elena Ellis. Austin Henderson. Jessica Danielle Huff. Michelle Nicole Maxwell. Lashandra Naikwa Gresham. Mara E. Patrick. Nicholas Robert Schlenker. Christine Elizabeth Schmidt. Rebecca E. Schnabelt. Chad Wesley Sutton. Nathina Tofane. Ashley Marie Wilbanks. We now present the Associate of Science degree graduates from the Mount Cottrell College of Business. Jeffrey Ganulin. Robert B. Prankert. Harris J. Siebold, Jr. We now present the Associate of Arts degree graduates from the University College. Samantha Noel Pilgrim. We now present the Associate of Science degree graduates from the University College. Kenya Tatia Clemente Lopez. Julian Escobedo Paz. Diana Liseth Moron. Katia Yvette Palafox. Janela Maldonado Panalosa. Holly Reed. We now present the Bachelor of Science degree graduates from the College of Health Sciences and Professions. Mitzi B. Lowell, magna cum laude. We now present the Bachelor of Science degree graduates from the College of Education. Savannah and Derison. Jessica Susan Austin. Samantha Elizabeth Ballinger. Caitlin Brooke Batson. Luann Kimthy Brewer, magna cum laude. Lauren Elizabeth Brown, magna cum laude. Megan Nicole Sinowitz. Kelly King Cravey. Brandy Dyer. Kendra Edwards. Janet Fuentes. Kimberly Galvin. Macy Dorin Griffin. Lindsay Guest, magna cum laude. Dana Halloran. Brittany Danielle Hewell. Sarah Lawrence, summa cum laude. Nicole K. Munoz. Kendra Lynn Payne. Rachel Potts. Abby Rhodes. Danielle Megan Skelton Morgan. Linda Erin Smith, cum laude. Emily Brock Wagner, cum laude. Reba Iris Wallace. Kelly Austin White. We now present the Bachelor of Business Administration degree graduates from the Mike Cottrell College of Business. Christopher Daniel Baker. Andrew Burkhan. Cameron Elizabeth Berry, summa cum laude. Mary Joanne Carolis, summa cum laude. Kaylin Clendenin. Kyle England. Chad Goff. Leslie Ray Greenberg. Lamance Santron Hall. Krissa Suzanne Harper. Benjamin Hassler III. Ronald Head. Kaylin Alexandra Hemme. Devin Robert Harrington. Austin Tyler Hicks. Ashley Nicole Hogan, magna cum laude. Kiera Shante Johnson. Tamara Jones. Alfred J. Kelly. Mallory Julia Cornoa. Shane LaRue Lanham. Sydney Latham. Marisol Madera. Aya Mansour. Edwin Martinez. Stacy Dawn Matthews. Matthew Wade McGibbony. Valerie Moore, magna cum laude. Michael E. Mullins. Ji-Hyun Oh. Diana Orego. Emily Pamavansi. Taylor Renee Pittman. Thomas Brett Robinson. Carla Salas. Nicholas D. Shuki. Jacqueline Nicole Subin. Casey Brett Tanner, cum laude. Daniel Williams. Gina Marie Wood. Thomas Woods. Kristen Zong. Jordan Zarin. We now present the Bachelor of Applied Science degree graduates from the Mike Cottrell College of Business, Gregory R. Bobbs. Bruce Allen Henderson. We now present the Bachelor of Science degree graduates from the University College, Kendall Nicole Gross. Ashley Winnell Phillips.
I commend the most recent graduates of the University of North Georgia. Your hard work and your dedication have been rightly rewarded. I offer my personal congratulations to you for earning the title of graduate from this fine institution, and I ask that everyone please join me in recognizing these graduates. Thank you. And please be seated. Graduates, judging from that applause, it is clear that each of you should feel proud of your accomplishments. So at this time, I'd like for you to rise and join me in a standing round of applause for your families, friends, and others who've stood by you through this process. Come on. Thank you. Graduates, you are now lifetime members of the UNG community. We are confident that you will make your university proud wherever your journey may lead, and we look forward to hearing of your achievements. I'll now call on Ms. Wendy Hughley, Director of our Alumni Relations and Annual Giving, for her congratulatory remarks.
Thank you. Graduates, congratulations. You are now officially a member of the University of North Georgia Alumni Association, and I ask that you wear that badge proudly. You've earned it. It's truly my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the Board of Directors and the entire UNG alumni family, and I thank you for giving me the pleasure of allowing me to join you for these very special moments in your life. My guess is that if you talk to anyone who's ever graduated from the university, they would share that since graduation, they've realized that the learning really has only just begun. It's the day in and day out grind of life that's truly going to determine who you are from here on out. I think they'd also share that their hard work and effort that they put into their classes was obviously critical to their success. But it was the relationships that they formed as they managed that journey through school also impacted their success. In some cases, as much as their own individual effort did. I want you to do 3 things for me, and these are 3 things that have a relationship theme. First, I want you to stop before you leave here. Just take the next 30 seconds. And I want you to think about the people that you've met that are also graduating today. Look around, your friends, your classmates, those people you didn't know 2 or 4 years ago. Those people who can never forget you because now you know too much about them. That special friend or study group that you met through the process. I want you to think about these faculty members on the front row who get up and do what they do every single day because they love their jobs and they love you. They didn't always give you the grade that you wanted or even deserved, but they gave you that extra special word of encouragement it took to keep going to make it through to today. I want you to think about how these people have impacted your life, whether directly or indirectly. You know who they are. So in addition to celebrating your degree and that piece of paper, I want you to celebrate these relationships that have accompanied your journey. Don't forget them. These relationships, no matter the distance, will stay with you forever. And on certain tough days, may be all that you need to get through to the very next day. So before you leave this campus today, I want you to take a moment just to find 1 or 2 and tell them that you love them. Second, I want to encourage you to stay involved as alumni. Stay in touch with UNG through social media, the website. Consider being an active part of the Young Alumni Board or the Alumni Association. Participate in a shared interest group. These are all great ways to stay connected with your classmates, to meet other alumni, and are a great way to give back just a little of your time. But finally, I want you to be a fan of the University of North Georgia, your school, your alma mater. I want you to be proud. As with all alumni, you will see changes over the years. Buildings will change, Programs will change, faculty will come and go, they will retire. Some traditions will be lost and others will be born. And one day you too will come back and say, man, this place has really changed. Some things have changed and they may change again, but the essence of North Georgia, the essence of UNG, even the one that I experienced 27 years ago, has not changed. It has not changed for an alumni that attended 50 years ago, nor has it changed for graduates of 5 years ago. There is something special about North Georgia. It's like a family. And today, welcome into that family. Congratulations.
Thank you, Wendy. As we conclude today's ceremony, I want to especially thank all of the staff involved with the planning and execution and for making it such a special occasion. The Women's Ensemble will come forward to lead us in the University of North Georgia alma mater, which can be found at the back of your program. Following the alma mater, please remain in place for the recessional as the faculty and the graduates exit the gymnasium. Thank you, and please stand.
From the Blue Ridge mountain foothills to the banks of Lake Lanier, memories of our alma mater we all cherish and revere. Seeking courage, truth, and wisdom, vines of loyalty abound. University of North Georgia, from diverse and solid ground. Standing tall, salute your history. To the blue and gold we rise. Look beyond the distant sunset. See the future in our eyes. To our school we bring you glory. May we always honor thee, keeping memories deep within us and our love for UNG.